the SBR to the media ahead of Nashville, and when I asked him to stop because it jeopardized the announcement, he took my text and gave them to the media as proof, and bizarrely took the SBR EO, which I assume is executive order, BPI ran it through ChatGPT to reformat it and claimed it as his own work. This is just what he's done in our interactions, but I've had many people reach out to me with their own horror stories. This is why I've banned him from the Bitcoin conference. In my entire career, I've never met someone like Dennis before. I honestly think he suffers from psychotic narcissism, and I highly recommend keeping your distance. I hate writing this post. I realize it's unprofessional, but I felt like it needed to be said. The longer it goes on said, the more people he will scam. One time he told me, I'm a psychopath and I see Bitcoin as a vehicle to eventually become elected to office. And I'd actually heard this quote about a month ago from someone else, this exact quote. So, yeah, interesting. He says, I thought I was kidding, but turned out he might have actually been one of the few truthful things he ever told me. I'm sure he's going to target me for posting this.
When I hit edit stream, so nothing happened.
But
if I start streaming, I'm pretty sure it's
so I'm not having to be at the center of this drama. I know Predator retweeted saying, you know, it's kind of funny because
I was shocked. Usually I
can't
even get to
the scammers kind of ironic.
The one admin pen or the account settings page, and I was able to get there today, but then I could never get the creator dashboard up to find the OBS settings.
Psychopaths in a playful way, but I don't think suffer from true psychopathy.
I was shocked. Usually I can't even get to the one
narcissistic
admin pen or the account settings page, and I was able to get there today, but then I could never get the creator dashboard up to find the
syndrome for all zombies listening out. In a playful way.
Is there end game to being a fake associate state Bitcoin shares? I'm not really sure. I don't really see where he's trying to go with it. And I kind of want to say daddy chill. Narcissistic. There's endless rents. I don't understand what right?
I mean, look, right? I mean, like, that is the most, you know, you go into politics not because you want to affect change, you go into politics because you essentially want to do nothing and seem like you're doing something. You know, like, I understand that there are some people who go into it. Sorry? I mean, look, right, doesn't it? It sounds great, you know? The only problem is that that is the most, you know, you're mooching off of the general public to, you know, to essentially LARP as they can change. No, it's not. But a lot of them are too close. I understand that there are some people who go into it.
I really wish
right, because
yes. Right, doesn't it? It sounds great, you know?
We were talking about
side of it, you know, you're mooching off of the general public. The whole game is, you know, to essentially LARP to, you know,
legally would have to put out like an audio.
I haven't really seen much of what he's done.
Somebody would have to put up a
but yeah, going back to this whole thing, right, from
I don't know if this is a possible thing. I'm in a room with very smart people, but like I'd also like a way to like player on like when I stream that I can put in OBS and show like now playing with like the QR code so that people can see. I don't know if this is a possible thing, but I don't even know. But like I'd also like a way to like player on when I stream like put in OBS. It's not a good now player unless you have people that can party mode and it's only
this sounds very familiar to me from who we are.
But if I don't be able to capture that like I'd also like without using a player on it's not a good now player.
Yeah, I mean, the same way this is being streamed, you would be able to play music like you talking about you want it to be interactive so you can like choose music and stuff like that.
Or like if I'm playing a Wavelake song, it'll show it at the bottom of the screen, like now playing it with like the QR code if you have it in party mode. You know how you can scan it.
The same way this is being streamed.
It's that, right? It's just a bunch of
little chickens run past. Those things everywhere.
Or like if I'm playing a Wavelake song, it'll show it at the bottom of the screen, like now playing it with like the QR code if you have it in party mode. Said it meant to be
something that I learned that maybe this is incorrect at, but normally
little chickens run past. Those things.
Yeah, hey, this is shit compared to the Nostr.
I think other people will sing your praises. if you have to sing your own praises all
Like
the
if I'm
time,
playing away, like I don't have
it's
corn
kind of
on
like
the
calling
ground.
yourself an OG.
Nobody's picked it up.
It's, you know, it's like this is
Oh,
like conferred
okay.
status. It's like it's come from, and I'm not saying that this is some status, but I'm just giving this as an
It's
example.
like saying I am well respected.
Pumpkin seed.
Yes. Whereas instead it should be the
Toshi kind of bullshit.
exactly it is, and you know what? Pirate hit the nail on the head when he put out the tweet today, saying that like it's CSW vibes, right?
Oh, that's what I just said.
Oh, you did. Okay, sorry.
I call him the fake Toshio state reserving.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part. I was thinking CSW. Fake Toshi still doesn't click for me. He's just always CSW.
I'm always suspect of people who are like names, but I can't figure out like what they did or what they said. You know, that always is a little suspicious to me.
Walton, you got another.
Okay, so we
another
should be
rec
live
class?
on Zap.stream.
Let's do it.
One sec.
Share it
No
out
worries.
on
Well-
the Nostr.
Welcome, Nostr.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Up next on Rect we have a mini essay from friend of the show, Lola Leeds, who thinks that
I just looked up my
the
screen for a
strategic
second. Was that a
Bitcoin
massive
reserve,
chicken?
is going to make us all wrecked.
That's
Kiwi, I've
amazing.
never seen that.
Going to suffer as a consequence. So this
fun.
week,
That's
you
sweet.
probably know the Bitcoin Policy Institute published a bill essentially for Senator Loomis, right, for the strategic Bitcoin
You know what would be
reserve.
super funny?
Yet
Like
to
a
be
little
signed,
dinosaurs.
by
Where you have like tiny
by all the
arms.
parties, by Trump, etc. But there is this this bill that has been created. David Bailey, of course, one of the original founders or donors of BPI, and also, seemingly part of the Trump
Man,
campaign
all right, so
this year.
I'll give a
Of course,
tour of the
being
pad
very,
here while we're
pleased
waiting
that,
for
this is now
people to join in.
existence and says all
So
it needs is a
we got the
signature,
Nostr
and
logo
America's
up here.
strategic
That's
Bitcoin
pretty
reserve
sweet.
is
I
real,
like it.
and people think,
Shout out to
the
Pleb Chain Radio.
part of the reason that the price is pumping
I like
is because,
that. The Bugle.
now
Shout
there's
out to
gonna
the
be all this
Bugle.
additional buy pressure, and so,
Rock, paper,
yeah,
Bitcoin.
you
Now,
never go
I've
up,
seen that
but
logo before.
Lola Leeds doesn't think this is all a good thing. Why? This draft by
Misfits.
BTC Policy Org, I'm quoting.
Pleb Underground,
This
and looks
draft
like
by
we even have a
BTC
Citadel
BTC
Dispatch.
Policy Org for a
and,
strategic Bitcoin reserve is an
rabbit
absolute
hole
nightmare
recap.
for anyone using Bitcoin as money.
I like
a
it.
huge disappointment for
All
the
of
future of
these
BTC.
podcasts
The
have been
draft
gracious
order
enough
defines
to
Bitcoin
donate
as a
their
finite
content that's
store of
playing
value
on Good
asset
Morning
akin
Bitcoin
to
Radio,
digital gold. As
which
someone
is
who
what
has
the
lived
radio
on
station
Bitcoin
that
for
we're
a
listening
fairly
to
long
is.
time,
So
I can say
they've
that Bitcoin is
been
not
kind enough
merely a
to
store of value asset,
donate
but a
their
money I
content
use for
to
payment and
let
day-to-day
people
purchases.
learn more about
Defining
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin as a store of value
Yeah,
asset
well, that's
reinforces the
awesome. Like
justification
we can
narrative. Who
come in
needs
here
to move the
virtually in
stock several
game
times in a
and
day,
listen
which may put
to some
developers at risk
some
when
Bitcoin
prioritizing
content.
changes
I love
to
it.
BTC to make it more usable as money.
Oh man, we got
Scaling,
another
for example,
chicken,
with
a
this
rooster over
definition,
here.
the
So,
software
some
defined
people
for
might say
covenants
that's a
may
nice
become an
cock.
issue
I
of
like
US
it.
national
I like it.
security that goes against the US definition of its primary goals, directly putting developers in the firing line of the United States government.
Patrick,
The draft states that federal
do you want to
agencies
keep
such as
waiting?
the US
Are we waiting
Marshal
for a certain
Service
amount of
may
people,
not
or you just
auction
want
seize
to
Bitcoin
kind of
off, but
just
mu-
dive
but
in? Oh
must
man, we got a
contribute
streaker
them to
here.
the
I love it.
strategic reserve. So here we see
Hashtag
some
not-
kind of,
not safe for work.
claiming of Bitcoin. This not only reduces the
amazing.
Bitcoin
Oh, that's
circulation available to the
Orange
public,
Mark.
but additionally
Nice. Okay,
sets the
perfect.
incentive
Here we
for
go.
US
The
Let's
audio
see
needs
stuff
work.
here.
seizing
You know what?
efforts.
I'll tell you what. I might not
hypothesis
have
that
the
I've
audio
shared,
set up here. Let me check the
think
stream. It could be
increased
bad.
AML
Because I threw this
says
together like
while I'm no
out of
fan
nowhere.
the strategic reserve in general,
Let
this draft
me
is an even bigger
look at
disappointment
audio.
than Senator Loomis'
I could be
proposed Bitcoin Act.
failing
Compare this
miserably right
to
now.
how El Salvador has implemented Bitcoin, which I admit I initially wasn't a fan of it
does it
either.
need to be
Yes,
turned
it
up?
directly gives citizens rights to use Bitcoin as money, which is a huge upside to benefit people, and not just the national security state. I don't know if that's changed.
I'm on the wrong
But,
mic, I
and
think.
there's
Hold
been
on a
some
sec.
El Salvador developments. Anyway, she says no offense, but the next time you invite to draft policy for a nation
Let's
state,
try
maybe talk to
now.
people
Now
actually
can you hear
building
me?
Bitcoin instead of
See, I was failing before. I had the wrong mic selected. See, I didn't even know I was going to do this. So, like, the audio wasn't set up. I didn't show up on a rooster. Alright, you should be able to hear me talking now, right? Do I need to watch the stream to make sure?
Yes.
I'll tell you what. Let's get some.
Yes,
some inception
I can hear
going.
you.
Oh, perfect. All right. So, so now I'm a streamer. I'm officially a streamer. I got my audio working. All right. Well.
All right. I think we can go ahead and kick it off. So what I was going to do, Derek, is I'm going to take a couple seconds, introduce the server, do a couple things. I'll pass it off to our friend Orange Mart over here. Who's going to talk a little bit about the servers in general and the concept of Orange as a server. Oh,
awesome.
Somebody's about
Can
to
I
get shot.
interrupt just really quick too while this is happening? Maybe you two need to stand closer together, or whoever's streaming, so that the audio sounds louder. Too.
All right. So we like a designated stage area. I got it. All right. Right. How about right here? We good?
Yeah, that's
And
all.
so, little heads up for some record keeping. Be sure not to do any damage to rocks or anything. As you hear the guns that are shooting off, that's when people go hostile. I've set it to where they can't really target you, but they will still fire. They shouldn't really damage you too much, but just to give you a heads up what's causing that to happen. It'll go off as soon as the last person that took damage goes unstable. But thank you all for
Yeah,
coming
I've
out.
seen
I really
Boys in the
appreciate
Hood
everything.
like 3 times, so I'm not scared.
Thanks everyone for coming out. So this is something we're going to try to keep going as a new tradition here on the server, to have a regular monthly meetup, coming together, just sharing knowledge about Bitcoin and other decentralized topics, kind of like tonight with Nostr. We're also going to have some fun with this, so after our meetup, we're going to go from here. Like I said, we're going to let Orange Mart speak to talk a little bit more about the environment here inside of Orange, and Tangerine, and also Mandarin. And then we'll go to Derek, who's going to tell us all about Nostr. We'll probably spend about a 15-20 minute break after that while everything gets set up for the event. And then we're going to have an event held after this that we're going to be giving away 10,000 sats in some arena battle royale style survival game. So everybody will get to join into a little world that's outside of here, and hopefully battle to the death for whoever gets to do it. We may end up having some issues and technical difficulties, so please bear with us. It's our first actual meetup, so this is all kind of new, and as you can see, we've already been working through different problems like streaming issues and whatnot. But thank you all for tuning in, for coming out to the server, and from here, I'll hand it off to Orange Mart to talk a little bit more about the vision here.
Thank you.
The kind of person that is going to self-custody or sees the importance in it has already self-custody already.
Welcome to the Bitcoin Meetup. We're excited to have you here as we explore the future of Bitcoin. We're honored to have Derek Ross joining us to discuss Nostr, the open protocol driving censorship-resistant communication. Stay tuned for an engaging talk, followed by a Q&A session. Thank you for being part of. Thank you.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. All right. So, my name's Derek. This is my very first time being in Rust. I joined the safe zone earlier, and I hit something with my torch, and I was killed like 1,000 times over and over again. It was pretty awesome. So I figured out what the safe zone meant, and that was a fun introduction. But I'm not new to gaming, man. I've been a gamer my whole life. I started out in the 90s, you know, playing Quake, and then playing Team Fortress Classic and StarCraft and Far Cry and Battlefield 2. Spent a decade of my life in World of Warcraft, probably more than a decade actually. And then, oh man, I don't know, since what, 2018 I bet. I've been playing Overwatch. I'm kind of a guy that like finds a game he likes and then just sticks with it for a decade. Like I don't have time to play other games. But throughout my gaming career, I've had friends talk about Rust and never never had the time to check it out. So I'm happy to be here. I never played Call of Duty. Like again, I had friends that played COD, but I don't know. I find a game that I like and I become obsessed and I play with it for a decade. So So anyways, so I'm going to talk about my current obsession. My current obsession is Nostr. It's this big purple and white logo over here in this rec room. Nostr is a protocol. It's not a platform. It is a protocol made up of many different platforms. So what's an example of a platform? Well, that's like TikTok or YouTube or even Rust, I guess. And we have examples of protocols, which would be something like email or the web. And protocols all work together. Protocols are a set of rules and guidelines that enable all these different platforms to work together. That's why you can have Gmail or Yahoo Mail or Hotmail or Outlook and all these other mail applications, and you can all thank you for the pumpkin. And you can all email each other and everything just works. Or the same web page, we can view a web page under Safari, or we can view a web page under Chrome and so forth, and it's all basically the same web page. That's because they're all accessing the web protocol, various different web protocols. So Nostr is a social communication protocol. Nostr is open. Nostr is permissionless. Nostr is decentralized and censorship resistant. If any of this is sounding kind of familiar, that's kind of why I'm here. It shares a lot of the same ethos as Bitcoin, and the two go hand in hand very well together. I like to often say that they don't need one another. Bitcoin doesn't need Nostr. Nostr doesn't need Bitcoin. But man, they have a beautiful symbiotic relationship together, and they just go so well together. So Nostr gives you a portable digital social identity that you can truly own. You can take your Nostr identity and log into dozens and dozens of different applications, and your whole entire content, your social graph, your followers, contacts, all of it, all come with you. It's really, really cool. Like, you today can't sign into YouTube and then sign into TikTok and then Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and have the same profile and have the same follows. Like, that just doesn't exist. So the Nostr alternative of those things does exist. It's really cool. So how did we get here? Well, I joined this Rust server, but dad jokes aside, Nostr development started about 4 or 5 years ago by a Bitcoin and Lightning developer by the name of Fiat Jaff. Fiat Jaff is a lover of dad jokes like myself. He's a gamer, he loves StarCraft, and he's from Brazil, and that's really all we know about him. He started working on Nostr because he understood the issues with legacy social media, the issues with Twitter, the issues with Facebook, the issues with supposedly decentralized protocols like ActivityPub, Mastodon, things like that. And he started working on it, and over the next couple years, it was kind of just a bunch of tech geeks hacking away at code. And then in December of 2022, Jack Dorsey said on Twitter, "Hey guys, I want to give some money to open source projects. What needs funding?" And a bunch of Bitcoin developers started saying, "Hey, you should fund Nostr." And immediately everybody says, "What the hell is Nostr?" And the rest is kind of history. Jack threw some funding at Fiat Jaff, and a whole bunch of people checked out Nostr, and Jack Dorsey said, "Hey, Bitcoin Twitter, you should check out Nostr. It's pretty cool. It has a lot of the same ethos as Bitcoin." And like I said, the rest is kind of history. I've kind of been doing what I'm doing in meat space instead of virtual space since then. I've been singing the praises of Nostr because I absolutely love what it can do for the world, what it can do for social media, and what it can do for humanity. Since then, there's been 3 major Nostr conferences around the world. First one was in March 23, then that was in Costa Rica. The second one was in August of 2023. That was in Nostrasia, or that was Nostrasia. Actually, I think that was November 2023. And then August 2024, we were in Riga for the most recent one. And there's been several smaller meetups and events around the world, and pretty much every Bitcoin conference is now a Nostr conference because we have Nostr booths there. We talk about Nostr on stage and side panels and main stages and whatnot. So, why do we need Nostr, right? Like, why do we need to have another app that runs on our phone, another app that we're using on our computers? Like, we have so many damn apps. Do we really need another one? And the answer is yes, because we understand that social media is broken. We see advertisements that are all over the place nonstop in our social environments on legacy social media. The fight to control our attention with advertisements, rage algorithm is insane. These platforms are trying to keep us enraged and engaged to keep us coming back to these platforms. And these centralized platforms, they control the speech, they control the content, they control your attention, and they can control your feed. So Nostr is the opposite of all of that. Nostr puts the power back in the hands of users. So if Bitcoin gives you the freedom to transact, Nostr gives you the freedom to communicate. You can be in control of your attention once again, be in control of your social interactions and your social data once again. Really cool. So how does Nostr work? We're gonna get geeky for a second here. I mean, we're all gamers, so we love the geeky stuff. Nostr has things like clients. These are just apps, but you'll hear all the geeky tech people talk about clients because that's what they really are. But it's an app. It's just an application. And then we have servers, just like you run a Rust server. Well, you can run a Nostr server. Those are called relays, and relays host your social data. They will host all of your content. You can run your own, and there's all sorts of different kinds of relays. And then we also use public key cryptography. This is where we get really geeky. But if you're from the Bitcoin space, this really shouldn't be too different because in Bitcoin, you have a private key. You know, we always talk about not your keys, not your coins. Well, that's your private key. And then we talk about your address, your Bitcoin address. Well, that's publicly accessible address to send Bitcoin to. Very similar concept. If you're a developer, developers like Nostr because it's really simple. It's not spaghetti code. It's really simple. It's just servers sending JSON messages. Anything could be built on Nostr because it's so simple. Because it is so simple, anybody can create any notes like these I'm looking at on the floor here. These are these could be Nostr notes you could be throwing on the ground right now. But Nostr is very interoperable because it is so simple. So anybody can make an application and build any feature, and then another developer can go out there and make another feature. So for example, in games, we're used to earning achievements. Well, somebody could make a mod for Rust, and your in-game achievements could earn you badges, and they could be Nostr badges. They would just publish events, and then you would sign into your Nostr account and accept the badge that you got. So Nostr is very interoperable, and anything and everything could be built or rebuilt on it. Let's talk about a couple Nostr apps real quick. So Nostr apps are kind of the powerhouse of Nostr. They're used to send and receive and display all of the content. Yeah, the lights keep going in and out here. Oh man, that's all right. We got fire now. How do I light my torch? I've been thinking like, how do I light my torch? That was awesome. I'm gonna light my torch.
Right click.
There's all sorts of right click. Sweet. All right. I love it. Okay. Now I'm rusting. So there's all sorts of different clients or different apps for Nostr. You can have your Twitter clones, which are apps called Amethyst and Primal and Damus and Nostr, and there's dozens of these. And then we can have some more interesting and more fun apps. We call these kind of like the other stuff of Nostr. Like right now I'm streaming this on zap.stream, which is a Nostr Twitch alternative. There's also a blogging alternative called Highlighter. There's a meetup alternative called Commingle. There's Fountain and Wave Lake that are Nostrified apps for playing music, listening to music. There's all sorts of really interesting use cases. We even have our own app store called Zap Store, where developers can publish their applications there and don't have to bow to Google or bow to Apple. Really, really cool. So Nostr is so much more than just social communication. If you think that it's just like a Twitter alternative, oh man, it is not. It is so much more. I use a dozen apps a day, and they're all different use cases. So let's talk about another piece of the puzzle here. I want to talk about relays. Relays are your Nostr server, okay? Just like you can run your own Bitcoin node, and a lot of you probably do run your own Bitcoin node or your own Lightning node, you can run your own Nostr node. Nostr nodes allow you to be in control of your communication, of your social communication data. And you can run a paid one if you want. So you could say, hey, my relay is really good. It has all of these, amazing features. We keep spam away. We archive your notes forever, whatever. And for that, I'm going to charge $10 a month or $3 a month or $10 a year, whatever. You can figure out what the cost is, and you can try to get people to sign up for your paid relay. We also have public relays that are massive and large, and a lot of people use them. We also have personal relays. Like I run a personal relay that's sitting right behind me in my house. We have small community relays where people, maybe for your gaming community, maybe everybody that's a member of your gaming community has their Nostr account or their Nostr public key whitelisted to write to it, and you have this small relay for just all of you to utilize. Really cool use case right there. We also have search relays and contact relays and chat relays, things like that. Relays are really cool too, and the fact that you can run one and you can be your own boss and back up your own social transactions, you've never been able to do that with ease before. And the best thing about this is how Nostr stays decentralized and censorship resistant. If I'm an asshole and I get banned somewhere, I say, hey, that's fine. I'm still running the Derek relay, and I'm not going to ban myself. So all my followers, that if you can't contact me on somebody else's relay, hey, that's fine. You can use my relay, and you can contact me on my relay. Really powerful. And I said anybody can run a relay. Let's see. Let's geek out for a second and let's talk about cryptography. So I mentioned public keys and private keys earlier. Your private key is something that you want to keep safe, just like in Bitcoin. It's not something you want to share. Your private key is like your password, and you can never change it. It unlocks the access to your communication, to your public key. So you never want to share that. You want to be careful which applications you enter it into. Your public key, that's like your username, and you give that to everybody. And you give that to all your friends and family, and that's how they find you and follow your content. There are different ways and different applications to protect your key. So on Bitcoin, you might have like a hardware wallet or a software wallet that keeps your key safe, so you're not entering it into all these applications every time you want to sign a transaction to send money. Same thing with Nostr. You can have applications or web browser extensions or an app on your phone or an app that runs on a server that is like a cold storage or a hot storage for your. We can get into that later if you have more questions. Now let's talk about one of my favorite things. So since Orange Mart is all about stacking sats and playing the game and stacking sats, you can stack sats with Nostr too. You can literally get paid on Nostr for your shit posts. You can get paid for memes. You can get paid for GIFs. Like, you can get paid for your rants, for your long thought out contents. This stream right now that I'm doing, I've got paid 5,221 sats for doing this stream that I'm doing right now. That's like what, like $6? I got $6 for doing this stream. That's pretty damn cool. And because it's a value for value economy, I'm paying the server owner 343 sats every 5 minutes. I'm paying him some money to use his service. So the people are giving me money for streaming. No, thank you for the 10,000 sats, Orange Mart. So some of these sats I'm going to give back to the developer of this application, Kieran, because I'm using his service, and it's okay to pay for shit that you use, right? Like if I want to be the product, I'll go use Twitch, but on Nostr, I'm not the product. Everything isn't free. Value for value, absolutely. So I'm paying for this, and I'm getting sats for doing it. Really, really cool. So on Nostr, we call these little financial transactions, we call them zaps, like a zap, a lightning bolt, a zap. All a zap is a lightning payment that understands that Nostr exists. It's integrated with Nostr. It communicates with Nostr. That's all it is. Many wallets out there do support zaps. Many don't, but many do. So if you use like Wallet of Satoshi, well, here in the US you wouldn't use that. Maybe Blink or Strike or Primal Wallet. There's npub.cash if you want to do Cashew. There's Minibits if you want to do Cashew. CoinOS.io is a really popular one right now. All these wallets support support Nostr. Thank you, Wood Butcher, for the 1,000 sats. I love it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, so zaps are cool. Zaps power the value for value economy. Zaps, like I said, you can zap content. We have content creators. We had a content creator, so a little sidebar here. We had this guy that joined Nostr. His name's Ian Carroll. He joined Nostr a week ago. His very first note on Nostr made over $1,000. Like, that's insane. Does he make $1,000 a post? He has 1 million followers on Twitter, 1 million followers on Instagram. I bet he makes some money from these platforms, but $1,000 for his first note on Nostr, that's pretty damn cool. Like, creators should love Nostr because it's value for value. You get to have your supporters give value directly back to you, and they're paying you in the best monetary asset that the world has known. So let's do a recap, because I've talked a lot here and said a lot of different things. So Nostr is a bit technical, and that's okay. It's getting better all the time. You know, Bitcoin wasn't point and click and scan QR code easy. 15 years ago, 16 years ago in the beginning either. It took several years for Bitcoin to get to where it is right now. Nostr is, following a similar path.
Okay, you shouldn't be cheerleading.
It's getting easier all the time. So that's great. It's improving, getting more intuitive. The user experience is getting better. So if it's a little bit technical, just bear with us. The developers understand this, and they're trying to make it better. Grassroots movements do not happen overnight. In Bitcoin, we love to say we're early every time something doesn't work right. The same applies for Nostr. We're early. Things are gonna, not work as you think they should every single time. So when attention is when your attention is the currency on legacy platforms, it's going to be gamed, and they're going to try to exploit this currency all the time. Nostr, you're in charge of that currency. You're in charge of that attention. You're in charge of your own social feed. Nostr enables this. Whereas on legacy platforms, we like to say you're doom scrolling. Everybody has heard doom scrolling before. Well, on Nostr, since you're in charge of your attention, you're in charge of your feed. You can configure your feed and be your own algorithm. So we're bloom scrolling on Nostr. Run a relay for censorship resistance, just like you run a node. We want people to run Bitcoin nodes to be in charge. You don't have to run a relay. You can use Derek's relay. You can use, Will's relay, whatever. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to run a relay, but you have the option, right? You have the option. That's the choice. You can't run a fucking Facebook relay. You can't. And speaking of Facebook, if something on Facebook isn't working properly, you can't tell Mark Zuckerberg, hey, this doesn't work, or I would like to see this work in this fashion. You can't do that. On Nostr, you can send a message to a developer and be like, hey man, this doesn't work. Could you fix this? Could you change this? I think this is the way to go. And if you want, you can send them some zaps. Send them a fat zap, and maybe they'll implement it. Excuse me. And last, before we jump into QA here is, how do I use Nostr? Well, I'm an Android user, so I use the app called Amethyst. I also use the app called Primal from time to time. I also use the app called Amber, A-M-B-E-R, to hold my private key. I use the app called Olos, which is a Instagram clone. I use, obviously I'm using Zap.stream right now. And I use Nostr Nest from time to time to listen to live podcasts, like up above Orange Mart here. We see the PCR logo every Friday. Pleb Chain Radio is live on Nostr Nest. You can pop in there and listen to them, zap them live, comment, participate in the show. And there's so many apps I use. I mean, I could sit here for the next hour. I use Wavelake every day to listen to music. So let's jump into some QA here, because I've talked about a whole lot, and I'm sure there's a couple questions. Any questions? Who wants to go first? How are we going to do this? No questions? I assume that since no one's talking or typing, there's no questions. I can keep talking. You want me to keep talking?
I have a question.
All right, what's the question?
Is there anything right now in like the pipeline or anything that you know about being around Nostr?
Say that again. Anything in the pipeline for what?
That you may know of that's being built right now that you're excited for, or something in the space that built that you would.
Okay. So yeah, so I'm most excited for two apps right now. So I'm most excited for Olos. Olos is a Instagram clone with more focus on user controls and building your own community. So everybody knows that Instagram has ads every like 3 or 4 photos, and all it is a rage algorithm. Like, Instagram sucks. A lot of people use it, but they know that it sucks. And TikTok right now, with TikTok potentially being banned in the US and all sorts of censorship happening on TikTok, TikTokers need a video alternative. So this application called Olos has the Instagram image feed, and then it has a Reels or a TikTok feed, a video feed as well. So I'm really bullish on that. I think that could onboard a lot of people. I'm really excited about it because it also has all sorts of algorithms that you can choose from and configure your feed in various ways that you just can't do. Like, you have to use the TikTok algorithm. You have to use the Instagram algorithm. So it's really cool that we're having these tools be built for people. Absolutely. And then they have these community tools where they can, if they're a content creator, they can build their community right inside the application. So I have a question in the chat here talking about privacy level. Well, so privacy level is what you want to make of it. If you want to KYC yourself and use a client that KYCs, then you can. You can do that. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You don't have to give any information. You can be completely anonymous, and you can run your own relay, and you can connect to relays with Tor. So, connect to clients with Tor. You can run your own client that you compiled from source. If you're super paranoid and you want to download the Amethyst code and compile it and run it from your phone, sure, you can do that. Amethyst comes with Tor by default, so it automatically uses Tor. I would say Amethyst is the most private client because it comes by default with Tor enabled, and you can go completely Tor mode or just use Tor for connecting to some servers, but you can media as well. So Nostr does allow you to be as private as you want to be. I think that's a good question.
I've got a question.
Yes, what's up?
What's some good options now around the private key management? Extensions and apps that are around. What do you sort of suggest these days?
So I will say that this is getting better all the time. As an Android user, I use Amethyst, and Amethyst supports this application called Amber. Amber is a private key management application that holds my private key for me and honors policies that I approve or deny through grant requests. So since it allows this, if an application tries to sign something that I don't want, I can hit deny, or I can hit approve, I can hit trust all the time, and so forth. It's really nice. Now, the bad thing about this is not all applications support it. I use it for Fountain, I use it for Wavelake, I use it for OX Chat, which is a DM chat app, and I use it for Amethyst. There are some other applications that support it, like Chachi, Flotilla, Nostrudel, Highlighter, things like that, and Olos will have support soon. But not all applications do. Like Primal is one of the most popular apps. It doesn't support Amber. On iOS, there is no bunker application. You're shit out of luck, and that's because that's how iOS works. iOS doesn't like applications running in the background, so you can't have a bunker or a secure like key management app running in the background for iOS. So no iOS apps support this functionality, but there are a bunch of web apps that do. And if you wanted to, you can use an application called Knox, like Fort Knox, or KeyCast. These are applications that'll run on a server and do policy management. So if you're an organization and you need to maybe give like your employee or staff member or certain people access to an account, but you don't want to give them the NSEC for security purposes, you can run this KeyCast application or Knox application on a server and divvy up policies for somebody. And then when that person leaves the organization, you just revoke that policy. Boom. You're back in business, and they can't make a post for you, things like that. So this functionality does exist. Who's the Amber dev? You're not going to find it in the Play Store. You will find it on GitHub, or you will find it on Zap.store. Zap.store is the Nostr Zap store, the Nostr App Store for Android. There's all sorts of applications for it. So if you go to, I'll put it in the chat here, if you go to zapstore.dev, zapstore.dev, you should be able to download the Zapstore APK for Android, and then you can install all sorts of applications that are open source Nostr apps, as well as other apps that are signed by either Zapstore or Nostr developers. So to continue with your question here, for the web, I use Albi or Nostr Connect. I use Albi on my desktop just because it has a built-in Bitcoin wallet and it makes zapping easy. On my phone, I use the Kiwi web browser and Nostr Connect extension. Nostr Connect extension is similar to Albi, where it'll pop up a request and say, hey, this application's trying to sign this transaction, this social transaction. Do you approve it or deny it? And I use that all the time. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thanks. Awesome.
Awesome. Any other questions?
So Orange Mart had a question that we've kind of been working on. Maybe you can help. And the server here is integrated Bitcoin payments. And so one of the things we've been looking to do is adding Nostr payment, Nostr Wallet Connect payment servers to be able to connect.
That would be very
server.
cool. Yeah, that would be very cool. I think that, I mean, I think I'm not a full stack developer. I think you're more of a developer than I am, but you might be able to figure that out. Absolutely. Yeah. So Nostr Wallet Connect is really cool. So Nostr Wallet Connect started off as just like it sounds. It started off as a way to connect wallets, like Lightning wallets, to Nostr to make easy Bitcoin payments, to make easy zaps. So when zaps first came out, what you had to do was you had to tap on somebody's zap icon, and then you had to open up your wallet. So you had to switch apps, and copy the QR code or scan the QR code. And then it's not like that's hard. Like that's light years easier than things were 10 years ago. But we could do better, right? Like we could make stuff super easy and intuitive, and not have to swap apps, and not have to leave your social application that you're in. So the people from, I believe it was Albi that started it first, maybe, they came up with Nostr Wallet Connect, and it's a way to link a wallet through Nostr, and it kind of became its own protocol now. Now there's, you know, a couple dozen applications that all support Nostr Wallet Connect, and you don't have to go through a long and complicated process. You just scan a QR code and you can instantly link your application to Nostr and your wallet, and zap people and send payments and stuff. So yeah, that would be really interesting use case. I bet no one's doing it in Rust. That would be a nice use case. I bet, I'll tell you what, the guys at Albi are super nice and friendly, and that would be a nice use case for them to say that they integrated Nostr Wallet Connect into a game. I would reach out to Tomic and Saunter and say, hey, this is what we want to do. Can you help us do it or point us in the right direction? And I bet they would help you out. I bet they would, or at least should point you in the right direction.
Yeah, that's one of the funding or the goals for, I think, the server series, and then the other thing we're looking at is nut zaps, integrating.
Yeah.
Right now we use Discord as our primary means of like connecting. One of the goals is building a Nostr auth where users will authenticate with Nostr as opposed to Discord, and then we'll have a NIP29 group to act kind of like the form of Discord, and then that would allow us to have their npubs to be able to set up nut zaps.
That would be cool. Yeah, so because right now the thing with, I mean, Nostr's complicated, Bitcoin's complicated. You put the two together, it's really complicated. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not complicated, but it is. You shouldn't have to tell somebody, hey, go download application 1, go download application 2, and now run through these 3 or 4 steps to get linked up. You want somebody to join this Rust server, click a button or two, and boom, automatically be able to start sending zaps. And nut zaps kind of make that easier using Cashew and mints and things like that. So I think that's awesome for you guys to do that. I think that's kind of, I mean, Pablo's really pushing for that, and there's some, and Calais is, and there's a handful of people that really want to see nuts kind of be the standard for a lot of applications, kind of make this process easier for people that have no clue what the hell Bitcoin is and they just want to get started. So I think it's a good use case, absolutely. All right, let me scan the chat here. I see there was a whole bunch of comments on Zap Stream. Primal KYCs. Yeah, so yeah, as I said earlier, there are certain applications that do KYC. Primal has a built-in wallet. Primal's built-in wallet uses Strike. Many of us have probably bought Bitcoin Strike or have heard of Strike before. Well, they use Strike, and we know that Strike has minimal KYC. So if you're somebody that has no clue about Bitcoin and you want to just get started sending and receiving zaps, I don't mind telling somebody, if they don't care, to use Primal, because it makes it really easy with the built-in wallet. It really does. So just be wary that you have to KYC to use the Primal wallet. I do also know of people that don't live in El Salvador or Costa Rica and say they do just to fake KYC, but I'm not going to recommend that because who knows how long that loophole lasts. You don't want to rug accidentally, but it does work. Bull Bitcoin, Francis, he and Bull Bitcoin do amazing stuff. Really wild some stuff you can do with that in Canada, right? You can just go to the post office and buy Bitcoin, right? Very cool. Yeah, I met Francis a couple times down in Costa Rica when I was down in Bitcoin Jungle for Nostr conferences and whatnot there, and he's a really, really great guy. Playing with Cashew, connecting with NSEC, having trouble with Zap. So I'm not a cashew expert. I played a couple apps with built-in nut zaps just to try it out, and it works. But the user experience is getting better. I think what Pablo's working on for OLOS is going to be really cool. That'll be the default method. So in OLOS right now, you can be a brand new NPub, a brand new set of keys, create a brand new account, and start receiving nut zaps right away. So that's the ultimate goal. So I think others will. I just realized my torch disappeared. Where did my torch go? Must have burned out.
It ran out and broke. Yeah.
Oh man. All right, I got it back. I love it. Sweet. All right. See, I'm gonna be an expert in this game by the time this is over. That makes sense. You consumed all the resources. That makes sense. I was running around earlier and I like beat up a tree and got some wood and made a fire, and then it was nighttime. I also picked up some hemp and made some clothes. So you can imagine how long it takes to do more stuff. It's insane. Like, but it's a survival game, right? So somebody could come along and like kill me and steal all my shit. I love it. Man, I'll have to come back and check this out from time to time. Yeah, I'll have to come back out and check this up. Yeah, check out the whole like mining thing, how it works and stats in game. It'll be fun. Any other Nostr questions on Zapstream or in game, or anything in general? What are the pumpkins for? I'll ask a question. What do I do with them?
Eat them.
Eat them. All right. Yeah, I was dying earlier when I was playing. I was starving. I'm like, where the fuck do I find food? And I ate a worm I found that didn't work out too well. It made me sick. Any comments on PubKey? I'll tell you what, I don't know anything about it. I saw people talk about it briefly, and I'm banned from Bitcoin. I think, I mean, why not just build on Nostr? Like, that's cool. Like, they're trying to find different solutions, but come on, man. Like, just build on Nostr. We don't need to have all sorts of, competing protocols when we all want the same thing. Bitcoin, yeah, I think I went in there like a year or two ago and said something, and they banned me instantly. Those guys are so, like, I remember when that sub was created like a decade ago, and I remember seeing posts from it because I've been on Reddit forever. I don't know why. They've been watching and complaining for 10 years. Imagine if they, put some time and effort and learned. They'd have a lot more Bitcoin than I do. Alright, you said look at that, I can clap. Oh man, my torch disappeared. Well, that makes sense. Alright, any other questions? Yeah, imagine complaining that something sucks for 10 years, and it's like up like, 10,000% or whatever, or more than that in the time they've been complaining. Like, they're idiots. They are the definition of people that are stupid. Like, it's okay to be not sold on something right away and be a little wary and question it. But then after a few years, be like, huh, it didn't die yet. Well, maybe I'm wrong. All right, that's fine. A few more years. Man, it still didn't die. Okay, maybe I should look into this. Nope. They're like, let me double down harder and shit on this harder. Like, that'll show them. Yeah, like, it's okay to not get stuff. I mean, I mined Bitcoin in 2009. After, like, on my gaming computer. Like, earlier I said I was a WoW gamer. One of my WoW guildies literally told me to mine Bitcoin in 2009, and I did. I mined it for months. And then I uninstalled it and I deleted it because I didn't know what it was, and I didn't come back for 10 years. Like, that's on me, but that's okay. I came back. That's, like, I eventually did the work, and I'm here. Now, these guys, they don't want to do the work. I think that's what it is. See, is like electricity. Last person in will benefit. Well, everybody will benefit. Just gotta do the work. 10 years failing the ego test, intuitive guy says on Zap stream. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's okay to fail the test. Like, that's how we learn. Like, everybody is going to fail the test eventually. But you got to do the work to eventually pass the test. Like, you don't just give up.
Awesome. If you guys want to hang around for... If you guys want to just hang around maybe for 15 more minutes, or Derek, as long as the time you have allotted, feel free to hang out as long as you're welcome to stay with us. We're going to do a little event after this. I'm going to disappear for a second and try to get this set up, but I'll have some more details shortly about how you guys can all join in. We're going to do 4 series for everybody to participate, so even if you lose on their first go-through, you can register for the next 4 events, and then we'll have a winners for the top prize to get the rest. So we'll do 1,250 sats to each preliminary round, and then 5,000 sats to the overall winner.
Okay. Yeah, I'll hang out for a little bit. I don't have anything else better to do right now. I'm sure I don't know what I'm doing, so I'll get killed right away. If only picking up corn off the ground was as easy. Can Amazon and Google ever capture Nostr? Chat asks. So if everybody would run a relay on Amazon Cloud or Google Cloud, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was a nice introduction to Nostr for some people, I'm sure.
Contributed to a lot of spam. Like, send me a Bitcoin and I'll send you 2 back.
Well, yeah, I mean, anytime you have any type of Bitcoin integration, there's going to be scammers and spammers that join to try to get, you know, free money. That's what they want. Oh man, we got Orange Mart here working on the computer. What the hell is this? Alright, this is too advanced for me. I don't know what this is. I'm hitting exit. Identifier to add. See, I don't know what any of this does.
this game is very realistic. So like electric and all of that, you have to wire it up and have all the components.
That's cool. Also, I have a video card here, so like,
Happy,
what's this video card used for in game?
We have where you can
Oh,
build
there's a
Bitcoin
CCTV.
miner.
No shit. That's pretty sweet.
So you can go around and collect parts for a miner and
Alright, let's check this out again here. Alright, so GMB. So, oh, is this actually like, yeah, it is. This is live closed circuit TV. That's pretty sweet. I love it. Very cool. So I assume you could put these multiple cameras up and see different vantage points. Where do we go to get into the game? So you want to connect to the server tangerine.orangem.art. You know what? I can type that in the chat, actually. The server is tangerine.orangem.art. We got Satoshi over here. So that's a 9. Alright, so what are these scraps here? You were talking about using scraps for something.
yeah, so we
Scrap's
use
sort of
that
one of the
as, like,
in-game resource. You can trade for
Go ahead, Kiwi.
sats.
Okay. So is that what that is? I turn them into this here, something like that, to get Bitcoin?
Yeah, there should be a box around here somewhere where you drop it in.
Well, that's cool.
And then you get a proportion of the rewards at the end of the usually a monthly thing.
So who funds the, where's the sats come to fund all this then?
Orange Mart.
Okay.
Have done a lot of fundraising, guys.
Hopefully there's sponsors and donations.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of curious about, like working with a Bitcoin company at some point to have, I don't know, like a banner ad or something in here, like you see PCR in here, right? Like, because this is up here, they pay what 1,000 sats for that to be up here, or something like that, you know, and that's used to divvy out to players. It's an interesting idea.
You can have billboards along the street. Oh man, should I play this survival game and die, like be one of the first people that die? So I have no clue what... cautious. Oh my gosh, we lost our clothes. I literally spawned in and died. Salty.
But and after the timer goes down, we'll spawn everybody into a little thing, and then when the timer runs out.
What do you have to do in the game though? Do you just have to survive? Or do you have to collect something?
Load into its what?
Decisively and kind of against a lot of the pushing that told them not to go that way. You know what I mean? So in
Everything in your inventory. whenever the timer runs out, this room is going to open up. These gates will then fall out to a new area. Everyone's going to go out, loot for as long as you can. There's a couple seconds before you become hostile. After the hostile hits, then it's out to kill everybody. It's going to act like a battle royale like Fortnite. There's going to be a radiation zone that will push everybody back towards the middle, and it's down to the last person standing. Whoever wins this one won't play in any of the next openers, or won't be a winner in any of the next openers, and we'll take the top 4 winners to carry over to the final winners tournament for the main prize. And so good luck, and we're about 30 seconds out from everything opening up.
will, that happens in real life and also in astrology. You know, I think it definitely has that energy there. It's also the Ides of March are, we celebrate them on March 15th, but they're really the full moon that's in March. Like historic, that's what the Ides of March are. So that's also literally the day of the Ides of March because it's that lunar full moon eclipse.
Yep.
Ides of March, most famous for the assassination of Julius Caesar by the Senate on the Senate floor in 44 BC. This was also a Virgo full moon in Pisces, like when he was assassinated. It wasn't an eclipse that he was assassinated, it was the same kind of transit. So we're getting kind of like, you know, like if you take that historical example, and you kind of like put in this chaotic.
Dark in the
Damn, it's dark.
example, there's a lot of like big endings, chapters wrapping up, forced new beginnings with those endings, which does feel kind of relevant for getting rid of bureaucratic inefficiency. Yeah, so I don't know, in terms of like Bitcoin,
Unstable can't win again, can he? What's going on?
Alright, it's gonna happen this time. Stream's gonna work. I'm gonna find a loot box with a good weapon. Someone's going down.
I'm not too sure, buddy. It's the first time I've played.
GG, y'all. How did you go out, Summer?
With a sickle or a nail gun.
Pretty sure that makes the Russian name the winner, right?
Yeah, well, it was only Simmer and him left, wasn't it? Pete?
And Derek. Derek went out
Oh,
right
and
before
Derek.
Simmer did.
Right. It was a bit of a I mean, the others shouldn't have really been in there.
Yeah, it was. That makes it tough. I looked and I can't find anything where I can limit who can be in it, so I'm just gonna have to like kill anybody that joins that isn't.
hamster wheel all the time of fiat. Purposely, we've been put on the hamster wheel so we can't see these things. We don't spend time with ourselves just alone, thinking and pondering and using our, the thing I always think of is humans were given 6 higher faculties and animals are given 5 senses. We have 5 senses too. Most humans just rely on the 5 senses along with animals, and they don't differentiate themselves with the 6 higher faculties of, and I might not miss one here, but will, reason, imagination, perception, memory, and intuition. So if you're not using those things, then you are the same as an animal, and it's going to be very hard to figure out what's going